through the educational programs, and we had a very, very effective educational officer in Karen Taylor, who was constantly in the schools and service clubs, etc. And doing simple things even, like explaining in terms of law the kinds of rights we're talking about. And, you know, there are economic, social, and cultural rights, like the right to education, the right to health, the right to work. Well, the right to health doesn't mean very much if there's no health delivery system. The right to education doesn't mean very much unless there's a school system, etc. Well, those kinds of rights, what I call the social, economic, and cultural rights, have no meat to them unless the society or the state or the province becomes engaged, right? So you need government intervention in those to realize those kinds of rights. But freedom of thought, freedom from arbitrary arrest, freedom of the media, the freedom of religion, those rights are enjoyed if the state keeps away from interfering with them. I mean, if the state doesn't come along and arrest you falsely, you will enjoy your freedom. So look how different the implementation of those two different kinds of rights are. In one case, you need the state to be intervening, and the other, to enjoy them, you have to have the state not intervening. But then there's this third category of rights, what I call equality rights. In other words, being specific to freedom from discrimination when you're seeking to have accommodations. When you're going to an apartment and trying to get an apartment, we don't rent to Indians. We don't rent to blacks. We don't rent, you know. I mean, that's overt racial discrimination, right? Well, the state says that is wrong. And even if you might say situations that are benign, you know, I think of the cases of and it had been in the news, the Moncton Men's Press Club. Well, way back when, maybe most journalists were men. And the province and others would come to town and they'd want to have a press conference. They'd hold it there. Well, if you happened to be a female journalist, you had to get your colleague to sign you in to the press club in order to cover, right? And so you can't do that. You're going to have to change your bylaws. Men and women journalists can be members. And that got pretty close to your labor rights. And there was cases like that. And some golf clubs, if you were Jewish, membership was not open, and things like that. So, it was clear, if you look carefully at the Nebraska Human Rights Act, it is public policy that we all are equal. And the provisions of the Nebraska Human Rights Act is based upon public policy of the province. So for our officers of the Human Rights Commission to go to a respondent and say, well, we understand that under public legislation you have a liquor license, right? Well, if you're not meeting public policy of the province, why should the province give you a license? Well, that got the respondent's attention. And so we were able to change things. And you may say, well, that's kind of harsh or brutal way of doing things. Not really. Not when you think about it philosophically, at least. That if it's public policy, and you want from the public policy source, the government, why should the government give you a license to do something if you aren't going to follow the public policy? Right? So I think we made grand strides in those fields.